Hey everybody, I'm Chris from chrisamericos.com, where we help you level up and show the world the best version of yourself. And in today's video, we're going to talk or speak about the words talk and speak. And I'm going to show you 3 tools that you can use to check if your English teacher is correct or not. There are a lot of English teachers on YouTube, and I have a lot of respect for all of the teachers out there because teaching is not an easy job. There are native speaking teachers, there are non-native speaking teachers, and you've probably seen my other videos where I talk about that topic, and I tell you that native teachers are not always better than non-native teachers. In fact, in my experience, a lot of non-native teachers are better. Not always, but sometimes that's true. But another important thing that is true is that everybody makes mistakes.
Oops.
Teachers make mistakes, students make mistakes, and it doesn't matter how good of a teacher you are, you can still make mistakes. If you look at my videos in the past, I'm sure you can find videos where I've made mistakes before too. It's natural. It happens to everybody. And before we start the topic of the video today, I want to tell you a story about something that happened on YouTube at the end of last year. 2 really good English teachers who have their own YouTube channel decided to make videos about other YouTube teachers who make a lot of mistakes in their videos. They wanted to help their audience and English students around the world understand what's correct and what's not correct. And I'm sure you've seen a million YouTube videos of English teachers telling you should say this, but you shouldn't say that. Hey, even I've made those videos before too. But what's different about the way that these 2 English teachers did it is they focused on one YouTube English teacher and the mistakes that that person made when they were teaching English. Some of the mistakes were small, some of the mistakes were big, and all of the mistakes were useful things for students to know. But nobody likes it when other people tell them that they're making mistakes. Do you like it? Probably not. Maybe if you're a student in a classroom with a teacher, then you want the teacher to correct your mistakes. But if you are a YouTube English teacher making videos that teach people how to speak English, you probably don't like it when other teachers correct your mistakes. So what happened after these 2 teachers made all of these videos talking about other teachers' mistakes? Well, some people got upset. Some people became angry that they were doing this. And the YouTube English teachers they were correcting are probably teachers you know. Now you might be thinking, Chris, why are you telling us this story? Why is that important? Well, I recently saw a video by the same 2 English teachers, and I thought it wasn't right. It was a video about talk and speak, a very important topic. In their video, they corrected another YouTube English teacher for making the mistake of saying the phrase talk in English. And that made me scratch my head.
Today we're gonna learn how to use these verbs correctly. Let's get started. This is not correct.
In this video, we're going to talk about how native speakers actually talk in English.
It's not correct to say talk in English.
So in this video, what I want to do is let you, the people watching, decide for yourself what's right and what's wrong. I'm going to show you some examples of real people, native speakers, speaking English and using the phrase talk in English. And then I'm going to show you 3 tools that you can use in the future to check if your English teacher is correct or not. Remember, every teacher is a person and every person makes mistakes. Yes, your teacher can make mistakes and that does not mean that they're a bad teacher. This is what everyone needs to remember when they're watching any video that shows you mistakes that other people make. That's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. So is the phrase talk in English wrong? Is that a mistake? Let's see how people use this phrase in real life. The first video I want to show you is from another YouTube English teacher. Her name is Stefanie. She has a lot of videos and she's been teaching English for a long time, and she uses the phrase talk in English in her video. Let's watch.
And then she just watched so much TV in English and she listened to so much music in English that now we can talk in English and have an entire conversation and she understands everything.
The next video that I want to show you is from a man named Douglas Holtz-Eakin, and he's speaking at the University of Michigan. And this is a very formal, very official speech, and he uses the phrase talk in English.
What I've learned is that you have to make good policy, good politics, and you have to be able to talk in English to non-specialists cognizant of the political environment.
Now, the next video is with a man named Pellegrino Riccardi, and he's giving a TED Talk. You've probably seen a TED Talk on the internet or on YouTube or somewhere before, and TED Talks are very informative, but they're also very formal. They speak to a very large audience of people. And in this video, he uses the phrase talk in English. Let's watch.
Now, as I say, I travel a lot, so I like playing with the airlines. I like going up to the airlines and talking English, or sometimes I talk with an Italian accent, to see what kind of reactions I get.
All right, the next video that we're going to watch was actually published by the White House in the United States. The man speaking in this video is the Deputy Secretary. His name's Michael Connor, and he served in the Obama administration in the United States government. He also uses the phrase talk in English. Let's watch.
The secretary, well, first he leans over to me, he says, my Spanish isn't that good, should I try it out here, or should I, just talk in English? I'm like, are you kidding? You're asking me?
Okay, so I think you understand that people use the phrase talk in English, and it's not a mistake. People say it a lot. The next video that I want to show you is from a man named Clarence Thomas. He's one of the most famous judges in the United States of all time, and he uses the phrase talk in English.
To some extent, that's what we do to law. We start talking about negative pregnants, and we use double entendres and throw in a little Latin and a little this. Why don't we talk in English? That farmer in rural Alabama has a right to know what his Constitution says.
And the last video that I want to show you is from a British English speaker. His name is Luke, and he's also a YouTube English teacher. Let's watch.
When Italian speakers talk in English, they are likely to follow the Italian rules and pronounce any double letter as a longer sound.
So, as you can see, the phrase talk in English isn't a mistake, it's a phrase that people really use. Teachers use it, native speakers use it, everybody uses it. Next, I want to show you 3 tools that you can use to check if your English teacher is correct in the things that they're saying, especially when it comes to specific words or phrases that they say that you shouldn't use. Again, remember, I'm not always correct, so it would be great for you to check me too. Check other teachers, check me, check everyone. Sometimes people think they know a lot about a topic, but they can still make mistakes. The first tool I want to show you is called Ngram Viewer, and this is part of Google. You can just find how often or how frequently a word or a phrase is used, and Google has inventoried all of the texts that they could find into electronic format, and they can search through all of those texts and tell you how often words and phrases are used. So this lets you know if a word is old-fashioned or we don't say it anymore, or if a lot of people say it now. And on the screen you can see that I've typed in the phrase talk in English, and it's actually become a lot more popular recently, and more people are saying this phrase. But of course everybody saying it doesn't make it right. So let's go to the next tool. The next tool that you can use to check if something is correct or not is ChatGPT. This is artificial intelligence, or AI, and you can just ask it if something is correct and it will tell you. So in this case, I just asked, is it correct to say talk in English? And it answered, yes, it is correct to say talk in English when referring to speaking in the English language. And then let's look at the third tool. This one is called YouGlish. And basically what you can do with this tool is you can type in a word or a phrase, and it will show you YouTube videos that include this word or phrase. YouTube automatically generates captions and text for videos, so this tool can search through that text and find videos that include the word or phrase that you're looking for. In this case, I typed in talk in English, and I found a lot of videos that include the phrase talk in English, and I've already shown you a lot of them today in this video. So I hope those tools really help you to find the truth, to understand if what your teacher is saying is correct or not, and then you can go to your teacher and you can say, look, I I found this information. It's different from what you told me, and I just want to know the truth. So let's find the truth together. Let's just check it together. You should be respectful when you tell someone that you think they're wrong, but it's okay to find the information, show them, and say, let's learn it together. Now, at the beginning of this video, you probably wanted to learn how to use the verbs talk and speak. Talk and speak really have the same meaning. In the video about talk and speak by the two English teachers that I told you about, they said this. They said that speak is more formal and talk is less formal. And I absolutely agree with that. Talk and speak are both about communication, but speak has a second meaning. It's about the ability to use language or to produce vocal sounds. That's why when we speak about a language, we usually use the word speak. So we ask people, do you speak English? And I say, yes, I speak English. And I also speak Russian. In fact, I have a channel where I teach Russian. So I understand that it's difficult to speak another language, and it's really difficult to teach another language. Это сложно не только говорить на иностранном языке, но еще его преподавать. So when we're talking about the ability to use language, we use the verb speak. And there's a funny example that might help you remember this. In English, when we want to tell a dog to bark, we can say, speak, speak, boy, speak. It means use your language, use your sounds. It doesn't mean that we're going to communicate. It's about the ability to use language. And that's why we can say speak to the dog and not talk. But the first meaning of speak is the same as talk. It's just about communicating. And there are 4 prepositions that people sometimes confuse when they're using the verbs talk and speak. So let's talk about those right now. The first one is the preposition to. Talk to someone, speak to someone. Remember, the only real difference between talk and speak when it's about communication is that speak is a little more formal. So talk to someone, speak to someone, they're both correct. But when we use the preposition to, we're usually describing the situation in a unidirectional way. The communication is moving in one direction. After all, that's what to means. This is a little different from talk with someone and speak with someone, because when we use the preposition with, it shows us that this is not unidirectional, but it's multidirectional. In other words, the communication goes back and forth. This is a small, subtle difference between talk to someone and talk with someone. Now, in most cases in real life, native speakers don't think about that small difference. So I might say I'm talking to John, or I might say I'm talking with John. And nobody's really sitting around thinking, does that mean he's only talking to John and John's not talking back? Or are they both talking? People don't usually think so deeply about that phrase when they're just having a conversation. But there is this small difference that exists. The next preposition that we should talk about is the word about. This is when you're communicating with someone and it describes the topic of the communication. So we can talk about sports, or we can speak about sports. Again, speak is just a little more formal. We can talk about John, or we can speak about John. And maybe that means that John isn't with us when we're speaking, or maybe he is with us. It only tells us what the topic of the communication is. And then the last preposition that I want to tell you about is the one that most of my students make mistakes with. It's talk for someone and speak for someone. This describes a situation when one person cannot communicate, so another person communicates instead. Or we might say another person communicates on their behalf. But we can just say another person speaks for them or talks for them. A good example of this is if I go to a restaurant in your country and I don't speak your language, then I can try to speak English to the people working at the restaurant, but they might not understand me. So instead, I can tell you what I want to order, and you can order my food for me. You can speak to the waiter for me. You can speak to the people at the restaurant for me. So I don't do it myself. I want it, but I don't do it myself. You do it for me. I hope that's helpful. Now, remember, Everybody makes mistakes. Teachers make mistakes. Presidents make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. That's because we're all human. And another part of being human is that we don't like it when other people correct our mistakes if we haven't asked them to do that. In this video, I'm not saying that anyone is bad or anyone is good or that anyone is better than anyone else. All of the teachers that I've shown you in this video, I've personally sent them an email. I've asked them if they want to collaborate, so I respect them. And if any of you are watching this video, I'm open to collaboration, so reach back out and let's have a call and let's do something great together. There are so many teachers in the world and we need more of them. We need great teachers who love teaching, who are passionate about teaching, because there are so many students. One teacher cannot teach them all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you press like, press subscribe so you can see more videos like this, and leave a comment down below letting me know what you liked or what you didn't like. Maybe you disagree with something that I said in this video, and feel free to write a comment about that too. My team and I will continue to work hard to make content that you like and that helps you learn English. If you want speaking practice with professional teachers 5 times every day, click the link under this video and join our English Everyday program. If you need English for your career or your profession, then go to our Level Up program by clicking the link under this video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!